obviously, as you say, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the pandemic itself in terms of a destabilizing crisis for the global economy and for countries around the world, the rise of the tools around social media misinformation and disinformation that were present back in 2015, but not nearly as sophisticated or pervasive as they are now, have caused a lot of challenges. One of the other things is in 2015, as we watched the American impending election of Donald Trump and the rise of right-wing populism around the world, that seemed to be one of the big threats or big concerns that we had that was potentially destabilizing. Things like Brexit coming along, Donald Trump's election. There was a lift of right-wing populism. It was very much the moment we were living in 2015, 2016, 2017, and grappling with as a responsible, progressive, rule of law democracy that believes in facts and evidence as the basis for policy decisions, as we are as a government. But over the subsequent years, it is not just about sort of right-wing populism that is still there. There is a significant rise of authoritarianism and an aggressive decline of democracy and democratic values in many corners of the world that are aggressively attempting to destabilize mature democracies, where populism can sometimes sort of twist the rules and the emphasis and twist the facts a little bit for its own gain. The attacks on the cores of our democracy and our institutions that the authoritarian narratives and attempts at disinformation and propaganda and sowing chaos in our democracies are much more serious and severe over these past years than they have been. We need only to look at the headlines this week to see the extent of interference activities and the impact they have on Canadians. But we've seen that with a rise of a more authoritarian China and the arbitrary detention of two Michaels. We've seen that through the complete rejection of the UN Charter and the rules-based order by Ukraine's being invaded by an authoritarian Russia. The world is more uncertain and less safe than it ever has been, and the answer that Canada needs to give is to double down on the rule of law and on the international rules-based order that protects us all. We cannot allow might to become right once again in the world. I mean, we have the multilateral rules-based order as a protection against that, and the fact that Russia in particular has chosen to upend that, along with other countries, is something that Canada must stand unequivocally and strongly against, because it protects us, but it also protects countries around the world.